Hi, Masters. Welcome all to our CCC Book Club. Hope you're all doing well. So let me give you a recap of what has happened in this book. As of now, we are discussing a book named The Third Eye. So we're seeing a journey of a 4-year-old boy whose name is Lobsang Rampa. Let me just mute him. Sorry, Masters, for the disturbance. Okay. So this 4-year-old boy who had trouble sitting on his pony, and he had a very strict nanny called Old Zoo. He barely had affection from his father. He always used to spend most of the time either in school or in the physical activities or with Old Zoo. He used to train him. So, and then we also saw that the astrologers predicted his future, what he's going to be. So it is a big thing in Tibet 100 years back. So, and then he has to, because he was predicted as he'll be going to be as a priest surgeon. So he has to leave his home and go to lamaseries and then become a monk, and then so that he could become a surgeon. Okay, in this process, he left his home, and then he went into the lamaseries and he waited there, and he had to go a strict endurance test where he has to sit in his contemplation posture and then wait without moving anywhere, and has to wait there. He has waited at the same stance for 3 days, from morning to night, and again night he has to lay alone at night without having any assistance from anyone. So he just used to get a barely essential food, which used to feed, which he can suppress his hunger. Like he has to, an old monk used to come and give him this food. I used to have that, and he used to again lay down for a while, and again before the first dawn he used to wake up and again sit into this contemplation mode for 3 days. On the third day, when it is about to fall dawn, he sunset, then a monk called him and he asked him to come into the lamaseries. That's how he got admission into this lamasery. So after going to the lamasery, so he had food, and then he was about to go to the evening services, but he thought like he was very, after having his food, he was feeling very sleepy. So he slept behind a pillar. So till that we have seen yesterday. So let me share my screen so that you can all view it. Okay, I think you all can view my desktop. Yes. Give me a thumbs up, or yeah, if once you see it. And switch on your videos, Masters, if you can, so that it would be interesting. Thank you, Joshua. Okay. So that was like, yeah, I slept. So that was the last thing which we discussed yesterday. So now, a stunning crash. I thought my head had split, and the sound of voices. New boy, one of the highborn, come on, let's crack him. One of the crowd of acolytes was waving my sparrow, which he had pulled from under my head. Another had my felt boots. So it's telling like there was some sudden sound. There was some sound. What was it? Like they're calling this new boy, and one of the acolytes one of the monk, the head monk, he pulled this robe, which he has kept it under his beneath as his pillow. So he pulled that. A soft, squashy mass of sampa caught me in the face. So there was a sampa on his face. Blows and kicks were rained upon me. But I did not resist, thinking it might be part of the test to see if I obeyed the 16th of laws, which ordered bear suffering and distress with patience and meekness. So he's telling him, he thought like, okay, he thought like this is also probably a test. So like, because he slept, so they were beating him, they're kicking him. And he recalled this saying that stating that bear suffering and distress with patience and meekness, means go, please bear it like without having like with having patience and with modesty. That's what it meant. There was a sudden loud bellow. What's going on here? A frightened whisper. Oh, it's old Rattlebones on the prowl. Prowl means on the rage. As I clawed the sampa, clawed means like as I scraped the sampa from my eyes, the master of the acolytes reached down and dragged me to my feet by my pigtails. So as he was about, he was cleaning, he was scraping all the sampa, which was thrown away by his the other monks. So he was scrapping it. So by that time, this other old, the master of acolytes, master has dragged him by his pigtail. So he had a pigtail, right? So with the braided hair, which he used to have. So he pulled it so that he would fall onto his feet. Softly, weakling, you, one of the future leaders? Bah, take that and that. Blows, hard ones, absolutely showered upon me. So he's telling like this master also started to hit him. He was thinking, okay, take this one, and he will start beating him. Worthless weakling, can't even defend yourself. So he's telling like, are you such a weakling? Means are you such a weak person? You can't even defend yourself, means can't even protect yourself, he's telling. The blows seemed non-ending. So everyone are kicking, pulling, they're beating him. I fancied I heard old Zeus farewell saying, acquit yourself well, remember all I have taught you. So it's just now, in a fraction of seconds, he recalled what old Zeus was saying, like, okay, you have to behave accordingly. So unthinkingly, I turned and I applied a little pressure as Zoo had taught me. Suddenly, he recalled this, what Zoo has asked him. Zoo told him. So before he was about to leave, so and he applied little pressure, means he gave a punch. The master was caught by surprise. With a gasp of pain, he flew over my head. This 7-year-old boy, seriously, that is what, this 7-year-old boy, he was like, with this thing, he just gave a punch. This master, he flew over his head, hit the stone floor, and skidded along in his nose, taking all the skin off and coming to the rest when his head hit a stone pillar with a loud onk. Death for me, I thought. This is the end of all my worries. So this master, he got hurt because of his punch. Now Lobsang Rampa is thinking, oh, I'm in a big trouble now. That's what he thought. The world seemed to stand still. So he's thinking like everything, it seemed paused for a second. Okay. He was in a shock mode because, oh my God, like I hit this, my master. This master. The other monks were holding their breath. The other normal monks, they were gasping. They were in a shock also. Oh my God, how did he beat this master? He was roaring all right, roaring with laughter. Young gamecock, huh? A cornered rat, which? That's what we must find out. Is this master who got hurt? Now he's telling like, Okay, is it because do you have this kind of potential, or because you're scared, like because we were all coming to you, so because of this, as a cornered rat, like a cornered person, so because of that did you hit me? Let's see, how is your strength? Turning and pointing to a tall, ungainly boy of 14, he said, "You, Nagawang, you are the biggest bully in this lamasery. See if the son of a yak driver is better than the son of a prince when it comes to a fighting." So he's telling, like, this boy named called Nagawang, he's a son of a yak driver. Okay. So he's telling, like, this boy is a bully. Bully means what? Some people who are rude, who give this rash comments, who are not sensitive. That's what it means, isn't it? So he's telling, like, this master is asking this boy to come and fight with Lobsang Rampa, who is 7-year-old boy. Yeah. For the first time, I was grateful to Zoo, the old policeman. For the first time in life, he never felt such a gratitude to Zoo. Okay, in his younger days, he had been a champion judo expert of calm. He had taught me, as he said, all he knew. So with this, so he was there with Zoo for how many years? 6 years, isn't it? I mean, before he turned 7. So till that, like, he was being trained with old Zoo. See, whatever the old Zoo knew, he taught all the tactics to this boy. So he's now being gratitude, even though he was so strict. So now, so that's the reason, masters, whatever happens in our life, we probably seem that particular moment we can't take it anymore. But remember, it's something, it's going to happen for our good. If you believe in that there will be a change in your future or in your circumstances, what's happening. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. I had to fight with fully grown men, and in this science where strength or age does not count. So he's telling, age does not matter, strength does not matter. I had become very proficient indeed. He's telling, like, now I'm a champion, because because what Zoo has taught me. That's what I'm thinking, I'm feeling now. Now that I knew that my future depended on the result of this fight, I was at last quite happy. Now he came to know, okay, if I fight in this, and if I am pass through this test, then I'm successful. This is a test. Okay, he is happy that he got an opportunity to fight. So that's why he is happy. Nahawang was a strong and well-built boy. He was a strong boy, it seems, and with a strong body. That's what he's saying, but very ungainly in his movements. But he's telling, like, he has grown up, but like not, I mean, his movements were not so strong. I could see that as he was used to rough and tumble fighting, where his strength was in his favor. He's telling, like, I could see when he's fall down, and so I could see his strength. He rushed at me, intending to grip me and make me helpless. So the boy, this well-built boy named Nawang, he rushed at him. He ran towards him, and he wanted to grasp him. Okay, I was not frightened now, thanks to Zoo. See, now again he's showing his gratitude to Zoo and his at times brutal training. So he's telling, like, though it was tough having trained with the Zoo, but still now it is being useful for me. As Nagawang, okay, it's like Nagawang, Nahawang, okay, whatever it is. As Nagawang rushed, I moved aside and lightly twisted his arm. So as he was about to grasp him, he lightly twisted his arm. He twisted his arm. His feet skidded from under him. So he was skidded, means with his knees bent. He turned a half circle and landed on his head. So he took a half circle, you understood, I guess, and then he landed on his head. For a moment, he lay groaning, then sprang to his feet and leapt at me. Then again, he started immediately. Okay, he jumped onto his feet, and again he rushed at him. I sank to the ground. What did Lobsang Rampa do? He sank to the ground and twisted a leg as he passed over me. When he was about to pass over him, he twisted his leg now. This time he spun around and landed on his left shoulder. So again, he got hurt. Still, he was not satisfied. So Nahawang was not satisfied. He circled warily. So now he circled cautiously, thinking how to attack this Lobsang Rampa. Then jumped aside and grasped a heavy incense burner. Now he took a burner, which he swung at me by its chains. So there was an incense burner. So he took it so that he was thinking like, let me attack him, Lobsang Rampa, with this. I stepped beneath his flailing arms and lightly stabbed it. So such a weapon is slow. Okay, I missed a line here. Such a weapon is slow, cumbersome, and very easy to avoid. See Lobsang Rampa, how present-minded he is. He is thinking, okay, this weapon is very slow. It's okay. I can easily avoid it. I can easily stop it, get rid of it. How? Let's see. I stepped beneath his failing arms and lightly stabbed a finger to the base of his neck. So now he stabbed a finger at the base of his neck, as Zoo had so often showed me. So this is a trick which Zoo has taught him. Down he went like a rock on a mountainside. He just fell down, his nerveless fingers relinquishing their grip on the chains. Relinquishing means like he was handed over the control, like he did not have any control on the chains, like his fingers, okay, and causing the censer to plummet like a slingshot at the group of watching boys and monks. So it's telling like whatever the censer it was, that incense censer, that particular vessel, it went towards these boys who were watching. Nagawang was unconscious for about half an hour. So this boy did not wake up till half an hour, 30 minutes. That special touch is often used to free the spirit from the body for astral traveling and similar purposes. So it's like, it's a kind of tactic where it releases our soul from our body so that it would go for an astral traveling and those kind of purposes. We'll discuss about this, what is this astral traveling and all about later in the book, okay? As of now, we'll go ahead with it. The master of acolytes stepped forward to me, gave me a slap on the back, which almost sent me flat on my face, and made the somewhat contradictory statement. So he's now telling, like, the master of acolytes, he said like, well done boy. He just gave a pat on his back. So the pat was so strong that he was falling on his face. Boy, you are a man, my greatly daring. So he said like the acolyte, the master of acolytes said like, you are a man, boy. My greatly. Lobsang Rampa's reply was, then have I earned some food, sir, please? I have had a very little of late. So now because like he had very little food, even as from 3 days, he's having very little food. So he used this opportunity to ask like, am I eligible to get a little more food? So what was the reply from this monk of the acolytes? My boy, eat and drink your fill, and then tell one of these hooligans. He's telling like, eat and drink how much ever you want, and then tell these hooligans, means the troublemakers, you are their master now, to show you to me. So they're telling like, tell these boys who are these troublemakers that you are the master for them from now on. Okay, the old monk who had brought me food before I entered the lamasery came and spoke to me. My son, have you done well? Nagawang was the bully of the acolytes. Do you know that? Nagawan was very rude. You have done very well, my boy. The old man. You remember this man used to give him food even when he was in the grounds? Yeah. During his endurance test. Now you take his place and control with kindness and compassion. He's telling like, now you take his place, but be minded that to be kind and with compassion. You have been taught well. See that your knowledge is used well and does not fall into the wrong hands. Now come with me and I will get you food and drink. So he's telling like, okay, so make sure that even now you have been taught well and you have good kind of compassion and kindness, because this old man was able to sense it. And then he's telling like, use your knowledge also well. Okay, now come with me, I'll get you food and drink. The master of the acolytes greeted me amably, means like in a kind way. Now this master has greeted him in a kind way when I went to his room. Sit, boy, sit. I am going to see if your educational prowess is as good as your physical. He's telling now, so let's see if your educational skill or prowess means skill is as good as your, like now we have seen that your physical skill, like you're good at defending yourself. Now let's see how good are you at your education. I am going to try to catch you, boy, so watch out. So he's telling like, now, so I'm going to try to catch you in the education. So let's see, he asked me an amazing number of questions. Some oral means like verbal, some written. He has to write some questions for answers to be written for 6 hours. Remember, master, it's not like 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. This test went for 6 hours. It's a test for his knowledge. So for 6 hours, we sat opposite each other on our cushions. Then he expressed himself as satisfied. Finally, the master was satisfied with his answers. I felt like a badly tanned yak hide, soggy and limp. So it means like he has lost all his strength. He stood up. Boy, he said, follow me. I am going to take you to the Lord Abbot, an unusual honor, but you will learn why. Come. He's telling like, now I will take to my boss. He's Lord Abbot. He's called as Lord. That is what they used to call. Okay. You'll realize why we are doing this later. Through the wide corridors, I followed him, past the religious officers. Now he's telling how he went to meet this Lord Abbot, where, how, like which floor was it, how the rooms were, like what was the path. He's going to describe. Through the wide corridors, I followed him, past the religious officers, past the inner temples, so past the officers, inner temples, and the school rooms, up the stairs, through more winding corridors. There are still more twisting corridors. That's what it means. Past the halls of the gods and the storage places of herbs, up more stairs until at last we emerged on the flat roof and walked towards the Lord Abbot's house, which was built upon it. So this is what the path he went through. Okay. So let's see now. Finally they are at Lord Abbot's house. It was all on the, so it was built upon these things, his house. Then through the gold paneled doorway, past the gold Buddha, round by the symbol of medicine, and into the Lord Abbot's private room. So they passed all this and finally they went into this Lord Abbot's private room. Bow, boy, bow, and do as I do. So this master of acolytes is telling like, bow, boy, bow, do whatever I do. Okay, so follow whatever I am doing. Lord, here is the boy. He just bowed like this, and Lord, here is the boy. Tuesday, Lobsang Rampa. With that, the master of the acolytes bowed 3 times. Then prostrated. Prostrated means like falling, like making ourselves to fall onto the ground. How we do namaste, like sashtanga namaskara, like falling on the ground completely our body. That is how prostrated means. Prostrated himself upon the floor. So the master has did this. So what should Lobsang Rampa do? He should also follow the same. I did the same, panting with the eagerness to do the right thing in the right way. Lobsang Rampa want to make sure that he's doing the right way. Okay, whatever his master is doing, so he has to copy it, and he does not want to do just copy the any way. No, he want to copy in a right way. The impassive means who does not show any kind of emotion. Okay, the impassive Lord Abbot looked at us and said, "Sit." We sat upon cushions. Excuse me, masters. We sat upon cushions, cross-legged in the Tibetan way. So normally how they sit in the cross-legged, and they sat on the cushions. For the time being, for the long time, the Lord Abbot remained looking at me. So this Lord Abbot was looking at him continuously, but not speaking. Okay. Then he said, "Tuesday, Lobsang Rampa, I know all about you, all that has been predicted." Now this Abbot is telling, like, I know about all about you, and I also know what your future was predicted. Your trial of endurance has been harsh. He's telling, like, your trial of endurance means what this he has went through this test in this ground for 3 days, waiting from morning to evening, and again in the night, and again morning for 3 days. So he's telling, like, that's been harsh, but with a good reason. There is a reason behind it. It's a good reason. That reason you will know in later years. You will know the reason why I'm saying as good, not now, but when you have become, after a few years, you'll come to know why it is. Now, know now that of every 1,000 monks, only one is fitted for higher things, for higher development. It's telling, like, not every monk, everyone who will become monk, come and join this Lama series, they will not go into the higher ranks. Not everyone can go to this higher ranks. Only few can go to this higher thing. The others drift. Drift means the others will wander. They'll go somewhere else and do their daily tasks. They'll do the normal tasks. They are the manual workers, those who turn the prayer wheels without wondering why. So he's telling, like, few people, they'll just do the work. They do not have any kind of questions or any kind, like, they do not have that eagerness to go to these higher positions. Okay. In terms of knowledge, it's not the worldly things. Okay. We are not short of them. He's telling, like, we are not short of those kind of monks. We are short of those who will carry on our knowledge when later our country is under an alien cloud. So he's telling, like, it's not like we are not lack of these kind of monks, but we need some monks who are very knowledgeable. And when we are in some kind of difficulty, where alien cloud means when we are in some kind of where strangers are there in our land, how we can protect ourselves with our knowledge. That's what it meant. We need those kind of monks who can train and who can help our people. Okay, you will be specially trained, intensively trained, and in a few short years you'll be given more knowledge than a lama normally acquires in a long lifetime. He's telling, you will be trained very intensively. So it's like, no, your hardship has not stopped. Okay, listen, yes, your hardship is going to continue, but you'll be trained so much that you have to study within few short years. Like, you'll gain more knowledge exceptionally when you compare, like, with a normal monk who like, to get this kind of knowledge, he has to spend a lot of years. But for you, you'll be gained with all this wisdom within few years. The way will be hard. He's telling his warning, be prepared. That is what he's telling. It will be hard, and often it will be painful. It is not easy path. Okay, it is painful. I know that. To force clairvoyance is painful. Clairvoyance means to predict the future, what's going to know the future. They'll be able to sense what is going to happen in the future. That is clairvoyance. To force a clairvoyance is painful, and to travel into the astral planes requires nerves. He's telling, like, one has to be there to go into this astral planes. We'll discuss about later what is this astral planes. Lobsang Rampa will explain everything detail in the upcoming chapters. Okay, so now at this moment we are not going in detail about these two things, astral planes and clairvoyance. Okay, nerves that nothing can shatter, and a determination as hard as the rocks. So you need the determination. You have to be, like, determined, like, as hard as the rocks. It's a metaphor so that you can understand. Okay. I listened hard and taking it all in. He's telling like I'm able to digest it. I keenly listened to it. It all seemed too difficult to me. He's telling like I'm feeling like it's very difficult. I was not that energetic, and poor Lobsang, he was also very tired, isn't it? For the past 3 days, he did not have enough sleep, no, an hour, nor food. He went on, you will be trained here in medicine. So now he's telling this acolyte, master of acolyte is telling you will be trained in medicine and in astrology. In two things you'll be trained. What are the things? Medicine and astrology. You will be given every assistance which we can render, means which are whatever we can render, means offer, which what we can provide, whatever assistance we can provide, which is in our hand, we will give you the best. You will also be trained in the asteric arts. Your path is mapped for you, Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. Although you are but 7 years of age, I speak to you as a man. So he's telling like, oh, I know that you are 7 years old of age, but I treat you as a man. There is some reason, because this soul is a old soul. Let's see, this will be revealed later, okay? I speak to you as a man, though even though you're 7 years old, 7 years young boy, but I treat you as a man, grown up man. For thus you have been brought up. So that is the reason you have been brought up. That is what he's telling. He inclined his head, and the master of acolytes rose and bowed deeply. So with that, master of acolytes, he bowed, and so that they could disperse from there. I did the same, and together we made our way out. So who did the way out? Like his master of acolytes and Lobsang Rampa bowed to the this abbot, Lord Abbot, and then they went back. Okay, not until we were again in the master's room did he break the silence. So once again, they went back to this room. So boy, you will have to work hard all the time. Boy, you will have to work hard all the time, but we will help you all we can. Now, I will have you taken to get your head shaved. So now he's telling like this, his master's room is like this master of acolytes, okay, not lord of abbots. So he's telling like, now it's time to shave your head. In Tibet, when a boy enters the priesthood, his head is shaved with the exception of one lock. He's telling all his hair will be shaved except this one particular place where they will leave little hair. This lock is removed, that is called as lock. This lock is removed when the boy is given the priest name. So they will remove that, only that particular few hair, the bunch of hair, they'll remove when they're giving him a name. And his former name is discarded. So from after that, they will not use what was the name kept when he was born. Everyone will have a name. So after, when they enter into the lamasery, after his head is shaved, when they're about to give his name, they will shave this lock, this bunch of hair as well. Then his old name will no longer be used. His new name will be used from then on. Okay, that is what it meant. But more of that a little further on. The master of the acolytes led me through the winding ways to a small room, the barber shop. He's telling like there are so many winding zigzag paths, and finally we reached out to a small room called as barber shop. Here I was told to sit on the floor. Tam cho, the master said. Shave this, boy said. So that's the Tibetan language, Tam cho. Okay. Remove the name lock as well. He's telling remove the name lock as that bunch of hair, what we call, which was supposed to shave only when they are about to keep a name, isn't it? He's telling, this master is telling, remove even the name lock as well, for he is being given his name immediately. So Rampa is going to get his name immediately. So he's asking, shave the head along with the name, along with the lock. Tancho stepped Tamcho, sorry, Tamcho is like the Baba name. Okay, sorry. Tamcho stepped forward, grasped my pigtail in his right hand, and lifted it straight up. Tamcho, like the Baba name, he Babar. So he lifted his pigtail. You know, right? Like we have seen that braided hair. So he lifted his pigtail. Ah, my boy, lovely pigtail. Well buttered, well cared for. He's telling like, wow, it looks beautiful, your braid. A pleasure to saw it off. From somewhere he produced a huge pair of shears. Shears means like the cutting instrument. Pair of shears, the sort our servants used for cutting plants. He's comparing that I mean like a scissors, I think. Okay. Tish, he roared. Come and hold up this end of rope. He's telling like Tish is his servant. No, it's his assistant. Tish, the assistant, came running forward and held up my pigtail so tightly that I was almost lifted off the ground. So he's telling like they hold my pigtail so tightly that I was about to lift myself from the ground with his tongue protruding. Means he was making some kind of I mean facial gestures, like opening his keeping his tongue out, while some people have some kind of facial gesture when they're working, isn't it? So he is putting his tongue out, protruding means putting his tongue out with many little grunts, he's making little sounds when cutting. Tamcho manipulated those deplorably blunt shears until my pigtail was severe. So it's telling like, so finally my pigtail was just the start. The assistant, he's telling like it's not over yet. My head is still not shaved yet. It's just a start. They just cut my pigtail. The assistant brought a bowl of hot water, so hot that I jumped off the floor in anguish, means in pain, when it was poured on my head. What's the matter, boy? Being boiled. He's telling like its water was so hot that Lobsang Rampa could not take it. It was so painful. I replied that I was. He said, like, yes, it is too hot. And he said, never mind that. They does not consider that at all. See, never mind that. It makes the hair easier to remove. He's telling like, it's okay. Like it makes it easier to remove. So you have to, yeah, so you have to bear it. That's what they mean. He took up a thread-sided razor, three-sided razor, very like the thing we had at home for scraping floors. He's comparing like we used to have it for scraping the floor, kind of razor he has taken eventually after an eternity. Eternity means it's like after ages, after years. He's feeling like that. So means it took so much of time. That's what it meant. After an eternity, it seemed to me my head was denuded of hair. Denuded means it was stripped of hair. So it's telling like finally my head is shaved. Come with me, said the master. He led me to his room and produced a big book. Now, what are we to call you? He went on mumbling to himself. Then, they are going to give him a new name. Here we are. From now on, you will be called Zamigmar Lalu. Okay. For this book, however, he's telling for this book, however, I shall continue to use the name of Tuesday Lobsang Rampa as it is easier for the reader. Good, at least we do not want to pronounce that name again and again in our book. Okay, so that was the name given to him, new name given to him, but we can use the same. So Lobsang Rampa is telling like, I know about you guys, means about us readers. Like it's very hard for you, I know that. So let us continue with the Lobsang Rampa name itself. Feeling as naked as a new laid egg. He's comparing again. He's telling like he's shaved, isn't it? So he's feeling like he's feeling as a naked, like a new laid egg. I was taken to a class. Having had such a good education at home, I was considered to know more than the average. He's telling like because because at home my father has given me a good education, so they are thinking like my education is more than average. So was put in the class of 17-year-old acolytes. So see, now he is into the class of 17-year-old. how like 10 years above him, they have moved him into the 17-year-old acolytes. I felt like a dwarf among giants. You know, like 17-year-old boys and 7-year-old boys, how their height will be. They'll be very long giants. And he's like a dwarf, like a small boy, like a small person. Dwarf means. The others had seen how I handled Nagawang, so I had no trouble except for the instant of one big stupid boy. So he's telling like all the other monks, I mean, who are here, they saw how I have handled this Nagawang, that bully boy, who was a bully boy. So they were all know about my strength, but except there was one boy. And so there now what will happen will see. He came up behind me and put his dirty great hands on my very sore pate. Pate means on his head, on his newly shaved head. So that boy put his hand on his head. It was just a matter of reaching up and jabbing my fingers into the ends of his elbows to send him away screaming with pain. So he just gave him a punch. So he knocked off. Try knocking two funny bones at once and see. Zoo really taught me well. See, again he is showing his gratitude to Zoo. Initially, what? He was scolding, he was telling how pathetic is this Zoo. He's so strict, he's very strict, he does not know how to show compassion. But now see how grateful he is. I'm very grateful because Zoo taught me all this. Remember, masters, that is how, having pain, don't think that there is some cause why you are having that kind of thing. So it's okay, accept the situation. Okay, we do not know why it is coming into our life. Okay, Zoo really taught me well. The judo instructors whom I was to meet later in the week all knew Zoo. So the masters who are judo instructors means probably martial art masters. Okay, all said he was the finest judo adept. They're telling the Zoo was the finest teacher, the master. He was so great in the whole of Tibet. For the complete Tibet, he was the finest one. I had no more troubles from boys. So he's telling like, all good now. No more boys are going to come and trouble me. Okay, our teacher who had his back turned when the boy put his hands on my head had soon noticed what was happening. He laughed so much at the result, then he let us go early. So his teacher he did not say anything. He was happy the way, because even the other boy, he should not behave for the 7-year-old boy, isn't it? So his teacher was happy the way the Lobsang Rampa did. It was now about 8:30 in the evening. So we had about 3/4 of an hour to spare before temple service at 9:15. He's telling like we had some few hours. So before 9:15. So it was 8:30, 9:15. So it's about 45 minutes they had. Okay, so I think we'll stop here, masters, right? It's 8:50 now. Okay. I'll stop the share or. So let me know, masters, your feedback or any comments. Do you have any questions if you have, so that I can explain? No? Okay, okay. You have? Yes, Joshua, yes, go ahead.
How do you pronounce Tuesday's new name?
No, that's what he said. Like, you don't need, like, I can just say it once again if you want. What was it? If you just go through, there was the. But we do not want to use anymore because his name is called Za Mig Mar La Lu. Okay, but according to him, Lobsang Rampa is telling, because we readers, because we are not so good in the Tibetan language, isn't it? it would be hard for us to once again, wherever the Lobsang Rampa want to explain, whenever this name comes, it would be hard for us to pronounce. That's what he's telling. It's okay. I prefer calling Lobsang Rampa instead of that name. So throughout the book, we will use this Tuesday Lobsang Rampa only. Okay. Yeah. Heather, yes, Heather, unmute yourself.
Ma'am, you explained it very well. Ma'am, I didn't still understand how did you pronounce the new name?
That's okay. That's like the name, it does not matter at all. It's that name. It's like they were using during that day in the Lamasery. We don't want to use it. So it's just because they're telling like, I got my name changed immediately, but it's okay. He has stated that it's okay. You can use the Tuesday Lobsang Rampa name only throughout this book. So, but for your reference, that my name was changed into this name. That's what he stated.
Now I have one more doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
What did the Lord Abbot say to him? To Lobsang Rampa?
Lobsang Rampa, he's telling like, you are going to have, like, you will be trained very intensively, means he will be trained very hardly, that like, suppose like a fully grown man, if someone has to study for 15 years, 17 years or 20 years, that much study, that much knowledge you will be gained within few years. So you have to study very well. You will be trained, not only it's in the education, he'll be trained in astrology and medicine, whatever it is related to these two things, he'll be trained in both the things. So he will not have any time. That's what he's meant, like you have to study. He can't relax and okay, I'll study later. No, he can't do that. He has to study. That is what he will say. With that, like they will say like, you can go ahead, you can go. That is a conversation which has happened between Abbot and Lobsang Rampa along with his master of acolytes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, you explained it very well, ma'am.
Thank you, Hital.
Ma'am, it's actually not Hital, it's Hetal.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. Hetal. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for correcting. Okay, Mukund.
Very well done. I think I read a little further, like just that page. Something's really gonna funny happen after tomorrow, because it's funny part now.
Okay. Good to know that you have read. But do you have any questions, Mukund? Because we do not want to discuss tomorrow's thing, so that like our enthu will go down. So do you have any questions for today? I mean, from our class, what we have discussed?
I also just simply also want to know his like hard name.
His hard
Is
name
it
was...
Lalu something?
Yeah, something. It's like, it's Zamigmar Lalu. Yes. So it's like, it's okay. We do not need to know that name. He just want to make sure that his name was changed. Yeah.
What was the name again?
Zamigmar Lalu.
Zamigmar Lalu.
Yes, that was the name. Okay. Any more
Okay.
questions? All good? Okay. So now let's see if we have any questions. Okay. What did this master of Abbot what did the master of Abbot tell to Lobsang Rampa? That he will be trained in 2 specialized subjects. What were they? Raise your hand so that I can unmute. 2 subjects, what are there? Okay, Mukund.
He said like these are very intensive trained subjects, and
What were
these
they?
are like the subjects are like astrology and medicine. So these
Yes.
will be tough, but you will have to do it because you will know later.
Yes. Astrology and medicine. Yes. Very good. So now let's see what are the questions I can ask. Okay, it's not in today's class, but let's see, like if we can remember or not. Like Lobsang Rampa has its name as Tuesday Lobsang Rampa, isn't it? So why is this Tuesday? What is the why did he get this Tuesday? Where did he get it? Okay. Joshua?
Because he was born on Tuesday.
Yes, good. So if we are born on those days, then we should also have our name, our days in front of our name, isn't it, Joshua? Good, nice. Now let's see one more question, last question before wind up. So was there any test for his knowledge from his masters? Did they test him for his knowledge? Was yes, let's see. Hetal? Sorry, Hetal? Unmute yourself, Hetal.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question again?
Did Lobsang Rampa had any test for his knowledge? He had a test for his physical strength. Did he had a test for his knowledge? Was
Yes.
he clever or not?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Good. Thanks, Hetal. Hetal. Yeah. Yes. So with this, I think we can wind up our session today. So we'll see tomorrow how like what are the other things it's going to happen in this lamasery. So what are the challenges and how is he going to be trained? Let's see what are the upcoming things. Is it upcoming challenges or whatever you can call it out. Let's see. Okay. So tomorrow come again at the same time. Bring all your friends so that it will be fun with more kids, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Bye. Take care.
Bye, everyone.